Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, and I'm reading Green Lantern Space Ghost Super Special #1. Anyway, I don't expect this to go on any further than this. The way that it ended, it seemed pretty much like they're going their separate ways. Anyway, nobody kills each other. It's basically just a cute little comic where we get Space Ghost versus Green Lantern. I think that, look, I grew up watching the Hanna-Barbara specials with the Inhumanoids and Space Ghost and who else was there? Birdman, the original Birdman. I remember watching all these and I loved them. I thought they were great. The thing is, I never actually knew what Space Ghost's powers actually were. He could fly and he could shoot beams, and I think he could do a couple other things. I don't know. I was a kid when I used to watch that. And then he had some kind of talk TV show, which I watched the very first episode, not even all of it. I didn't like it. It wasn't the Space Ghost I knew. I just kind of turned, and I don't even remember what happened in that particular episode. I never bothered to watch again. So I really don't know what Space Ghost can actually do. He can turn invisible and he can phase, apparently, and they tried to give a little bit of something in there, but I think that it would have been nice if they could have given a couple extra explanations, but it is what it is. Anyway, so basically these two fight and then they get stopped, and the whole reason why they're even connected with each other is because they get some kind of a message that says, hey, please come here to this unknown sector and try and help us. We need help. Anybody would be able to help. So interesting. So they go, and basically it's just a race of people who their government has made it so that if anybody believes that there's anything, including planets and stars, outside of their immediate view, then it's a crime. So, yeah, like the military goes after them, and they're all ineffective against both of them, but whatever. They wind up knocking each other unconscious, and then a little girl comes and takes their weapons. So they wind up getting their weapons back as the military comes back, and they switch weapons by accident, and that was kind of, they're like right next to each other, and they're not thinking to just switch really quick. Whatever. I guess it's cute, but whatever, it is what it is. Anyway, so they switch weapons eventually in a very dumb way, and they beat up the bad guys. And then the main guy who called them just wants proof. Like, he knows, he believes, but he just wants to see it, even though he got shot or something and he's dying. The barn fell on him, I don't know. So they bring him up into space, he gets to see it, and he goes, oh, it's more beautiful than I ever thought. And he dies, and they kind of let him go into space. And the little girl who had seen it, she comes back down to that planet, and Space Ghost and Green Lantern leave, and like, hey, man, I want one of those rings. Hey, man. And, they're kind of talking, and it reminds me of an old song. So they depart, and then the little girl is sending another message. She's older now, and she's saying, I'm coming to visit you too. And it is kind of like a little bit of a choke-up ending, but when you go back and kind of reread through it, it was a very dumb comic. Good enough story, but literally, like, the way these two meet, and Larfleeze is in this too, the Orange Lantern, but inconsequential. The idea is that the way that they meet and get into this fight, it's really just like any old combat move where it's just there's no reason for them to fight. A case of mistaken identity, and yeah, I don't actually know why they decided to put not these two together. It seems perfectly fine to put these two together, but the idea of actually having some kind of a match with these guys, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Anyway, guys, I'm going to give this a B+. It was enjoyable. It was definitely enjoyable. This is going to be some kind of great collector's edition. I'd be surprised. Hey, come back, quote me later. In the meantime, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.